to take you through some simple but effective glute exercises today. I'm going to do them in real time so you can follow along with me, and I give you some tips throughout, okay? Remember, through these exercises, if you get any pain, just dial it down a little bit. Do the movement nice and slowly. See if you can pinpoint where any pain is coming from and try and adjust your position. See if there's a more beneficial position for you to be in, okay? But ultimately, if they cause you a lot of pain, then don't follow these exercises, okay? Now, before we get started, I just want to say why glute strength is important in terms of pelvic and spinal health. So if you have tight or weak glutes, it affects how your pelvis sits, and that then has a knock-on your lower back, on the muscles through your core, through your lower back, and these can all become secondary pain generators. So glute exercises, glute strength in particular, is important, okay? So I'm going to talk you through some to start off with today, okay? So we're going to start off with one called the glute bridge, okay? Now I'm going to do it in real time, but I'm going to talk you through how to do it first of all, okay? So we're laid on our back, feet on the floor, knees bent, arms down by your sides, okay? First thing we want to do is keep the lower back nice and flat, okay? So find your ribs, find the bony bits of your pelvis, bring them together, so we're pulling that pelvis up towards us, so we're pressing into the floor. So if we're lead relaxed on the floor, there's a bit of a gap under my lower back. You can get your hand underneath. We want to take that out, pull these together, push them down, put that pressure onto the lower back. This activates your core, okay? And it keeps the pelvis level as we work the glutes, okay? So from here, all we're going to do, looking over the knees, keep this position here as much as you can, pressing through your heels, keep your shoulders on the floor. I'm just going to lift the pelvis up towards the sky. We're going to do this 10 times to start with. Nice and slowly, breathing through the belly, but keeping that pelvis in neutral. So if you find as we come down, you're landing like this, bring my arms up out of the way, you're landing like this with a big gap, you want to bring these ribs down, pelvis up, keep them nice and tight, pressing through the belly button into the floor, lift the hips up off the floor, keep it nice and stable. And you should feel this through your glutes. And now pushing up and control the movement back down. It doesn't matter if you can only get an inch off the floor. The main thing is your glutes are taking your weight, okay? And you can progress this as you go through. Keep your hands on your stomach if you find it helps to maintain this level through the core, or you can have them either side and push upwards. You can progress this, if you're finding this easy, you can progress this, but I'll cover that at a later date. Good, so there's 10. So that's 10 repetitions, one set, okay? We're going to focus now on a different part of the glutes. So lying on your side, hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked, arms in front of you, whatever position is most comfortable. We're going to keep the ankles together, keep the hips stacked, move the knees apart. So we're looking at the rotational element of the hip here. And again, we're going to do 10, but we're going to do 10 either side to make sure we're nice and balanced. You can play around with this a little bit, see what position is most comfortable for you, but the main thing is keep your upper body straight and your hips stacked, so we're not rolling forwards, we're not rolling backwards, okay? Keep the hips stacked, throughout that movement. Knees apart. These are called clamshells. Good. Same on the other side. So that's 10 repetitions, but we've only done half of the first set because we've only done one leg. So the same through here, shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked, hand on the hip if it helps you to keep the pelvis neutral, feet together and knees apart. You'll find with these that you're probably stronger on one side than the other, but that's quite normal. That's why we do the exercises. We want to try and balance you out as much as we can. So again, 10 this side, give it a good squeeze, make sure you're staying nice and stable. Again, we can progress these at a later date, we can make these more difficult if you're finding these really easy, but I'll cover that in a separate video. We want to start at the bottom and work our way up, okay? Good. from here. Last exercise, we're going to work on the side of the hips, okay? So we're going to start again, lying on the side, shoulders stacked, hips stacked. This time we're going to have the legs out straight. It's up to you if you want to bend the bottom one, if you find it keeps you a bit more level. I find it a bit more comfortable. All we're going to do from here, holding the leg out straight, raise it up as high as you can. Don't go crazy. We're not looking to get up to 90 degrees. We just want to activate the side of the hip here. Good. And again, we're going for 10 repetitions. And one set is 10 repetitions on both sides, so we're nice and equal. If you're finding this difficult, you can relax the leg in between, or you can bring it up to bent. You can pause in between, but don't stop your workout, okay? So again, up to 10. If you want to make these a little bit more challenging for yourself, what you can do is hold the position. But again, if they're painful, dial it back, do it nice and slowly, and find what's comfortable for you, okay? So again, once we've done that side, same on the opposite side, balance you up, stack through the shoulders, stack through the hips, keeping these level throughout the movement again, okay? I keep the bottom leg bent, and we're just going to raise up through here. So you should be nice and straight from your shoulder down to your toes, okay? I'm not in a banana at all, we're not curved, we're keeping nice and straight, lifting the heel up towards the ceiling. And again, 10 repetitions this side to balance you out. And again, you'll probably find one side's a bit stronger than the other. It's quite normal, we've all got a dominant side, but it's important to keep exercises the same both sides so that that imbalance doesn't become an issue. Good, and again, you can hold the position if you want to make it a little bit tougher, but I'll show you other ways you can get more out of these exercises in another video. Good. Excellent. Cool. So that's 10 repetitions of 3 exercises, okay? 10 repetitions, we've done both legs, so that counts as 1 repetition. What I'm going to show you next, okay? Ooh, suddenly got a bit sunny. What I'm going to show you next is how to stretch your glutes off. So what you do the 10 repetitions 3 times. So that little cycle I've just done, 10, 10 and 10, one of each exercise, you do that 3 times. So you end up doing each exercise 30 times, okay? So you can watch this video back 3 times, or you can go at your own pace, completely up to you, okay? I'm just going to show you some stretches before we go. So the first one, we'll keep it nice and simple. Lying on your back, same as the starting position. We're going to bring this knee up to the chest, pop the foot on the opposite knee, and push away, okay? If you don't feel a stretch yet, we're going to make this a little bit more challenging, okay? Bring that foot up off the floor, pull the knee towards you, and you should feel a good stretch in the right side, in the right glute, okay? Pull that towards you. You're going to hold this. If it gets uncomfortable, you're going to release the stretch, okay? Not too quickly because you don't want to injure yourself. But we're going to hold this for somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds, okay? If you feel like you want to go longer, you know you've got tight glutes or tight hamstrings or a tight lower back, you can go for longer if you want to, okay? But 15 to 20 seconds is a good place to start, okay? It is something we want to focus on extending. We want to progress all our exercises, that includes the stretches, okay? So it is something we can look to extend, but if we're just starting, 15 to 20 seconds is a good place to start. Okay, so again, we're pushing the knee away. Bring the foot up off the floor and hug your right knee in towards you. So through here, feeling a stretch in that left glute. Good, and as I say, if it's uncomfortable, you can release the stretch, but you want to put the foot down gently. Don't collapse out of the stretch because you're more likely to injure yourself. From here, another good stretch to do to finish off after your exercises, you're strengthening. One leg down flat, the other knee across that leg and hug into you here, okay? The further and the more flush you are to the wall, so the more upright you are, the more you'll find a stretch through here. If you want to make it a bit harder, get this foot on the floor if you can, pull the knee across, turn and face the other way. Nice and simple. And again, we're looking for 15 to 20 seconds to start with on both sides. And you dial it down, you do what's comfortable for you. If it's only comfortable for you to bring the knee up to the chest, that's okay. Find what's comfortable and we'll progress it. Good, we're going to swap over. Remember, we've always got to do every exercise, every stretch for both sides. It's what we call bilateral training, so we're training both sides. So for me, this left side is a little bit weaker and a little bit shorter, so I can feel this stretch a lot more on this left side than I could when we were sat the other way round. Good, and again after 15 to 20 seconds, we're going to let that go. Okay, I'd recommend you do the 15 to 20 seconds once to start with. If it's still feeling a bit tight, you can go through it again, okay? Right, the last one I'm going to show you. If you've got problems with your knees or your lower back, you don't have to do this one. I find this a good stretch for the sides of the hips, okay? So we're going to cross the legs over, and we're going to bend towards the floor. It's mostly in the hamstring, but as you tilt to one side, you'll find it's the opposite stretch. If you're a bit unsteady on your feet, have something to hand that you can put pressure on, you can use for stability. And as I say, if you've got bad knees or a bad low back, or if this causes you pain, then dial it back and just go as far as you can. So I'm getting a good stretch just through the side of the hip here and into that hamstring a little bit as well. Good, and back up. Excellent. Good. So that's the first part of the glute exercises, okay? That's the most simple ones. And as I say, I'll talk through how to make them a little bit more difficult in another video.